Welcome back to the second webinar where we're going to be teaching you how you can create a plan, not only to look at how you're going to develop your video, but also how you're going to promote it. So at the end of this webinar, you're going to have a clear plan as to how you're going to, what you're going to be videoing, how you're going to be structuring the video, and also really importantly, how you're going to be promoting the video. Because a lot of people tend to create a short video, they send it out once, and then they think that's where they need to stop. But I've got some really handy tips for you showing you exactly how you can really effectively promote your video through things like social media, email marketing, blogging, lots and lots of really great areas. So let's get into it. Now, the plan we're going to create has 4 core areas which we're going to be talking through. So first of all, within your plan, and I want you to really write down your plan. It's really important that you have a clear plan written down. You could use a notepad, you could do it on Word, but make sure you write this plan down. So I'm going to talk you through how you can create this plan, and at the end, I'm going to give you a summary so that you can really start to create your plan. So the first part, you need to write down, what are you going to video? Now in the previous webinar, we looked at brainstorming your ideas. So I want you to have those with you because they're the ideas that we're going to use for your video. And then secondly, the thing you need to note down in your plan is, how are you going to video this short video? Now, in this webinar series, we know that we're going to use your smartphone. So you can tick that box. The first box is ticked, the second box is ticked. The third part is going to be looking at exactly how you can structure the video. So we've got a really great structure that you can use for your video, and I'm going to be talking you through exactly how to use that when creating your video. And then finally, like I just mentioned, how to promote your video. And I'm going to be giving you lots of tips and advice on how to do that. So, first of all, the video structure. Now we've got a really great structure you can use, which I'll talk you through, and then I'll give you a bit more detail and give you some examples. So within your 30-second video, the thing you should do first of all is introduce yourself. So it may sound simple, but you need just a really short introduction. So for example, I would introduce myself by saying, "Hi there, it's Dan from KPS Digital Marketing." So however you feel comfortable introducing yourself, you want it short and snappy because you haven't got much time. Don't blabber on too much, just a short, snappy introduction. Then this is where we get into it. The second part is you need to tell your audience what you're going to tell them. Okay, I'm going to explain, this may sound funny, but I'm going to explain it in a second. So you need to tell them what you're going to tell them. So for example, if I was creating a short video on how to grow your Twitter list, your Twitter audience, I would say, "Hi, it's Dan from KPS Digital Marketing. In this short video, I'm going to show you exactly how to grow your Twitter audience." So you tell them what you're going to tell them. Then the third part is to actually tell them. So if I'm talking about growing your Twitter audience, I could say a number of things. It could be, the first tip is to find your target market online using Twitter's search function. The second tip is to follow 10 to 15 of that audience per day. And the third tip is to engage with that audience. So I've basically told people in the video, the nuggets of value which I want to tell them. Then the fourth part is you tell them what you told them. Bear with me now. So once I've told them about how to grow their Twitter audience, I then say, and that was how you grow your Twitter audience online. And then finally, you need a call to action. So you really need to think about, what action do you want your audience to take after they've watched the video? So I'm going to give you some examples now. You could be thinking that you want them to engage with you. So you could say at the end of your video, "Thanks for watching the video. Please do tweet me. I'd love to hear your feedback if you've got any ideas or if you've tried these strategies. What are your thoughts? Please do engage with me." Because I'm sure you've heard engagement is so important when building relationships online. So when you're starting out, you don't want to suddenly tell people, "Buy my product," as a call to action, because it can put people off. They've only just met you. This is one of the first videos you've created. You haven't built that relationship up with them. You want to have a call to action which kind of draws them in and helps build those blocks to starting to form a really credible relationship. So engagement is a good call to action. Another call to action could be to go to your website for an extra piece of content. So you could say to them, go to our website and download this free ebook, or go to our website and check out this blog and add a link to your blog, so that they can then go to find out more information around the products and services you provide, and look at another piece of content which you've written which provides more value. One thing I love to do is I love to create blogs, and then I do a short video telling people, a snapshot of what's in the blog, and then I include a link in the tweet, and I say, or the Facebook post or the LinkedIn post, and I say, check this link for the full blog where I'll share this, this, and this. So that's, a big tip that I give you. Another call to action could be, sign up to our email list where we provide extra tips and value on a weekly basis. Just think, what call to action do you want your audience to take? Because that's really important. Now, let me just explain the reasoning behind this structure so that it gives you a bit more of an understanding, because it may seem very weird telling them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, then you tell them what you told them. But there's a really key strategy behind this, and it's to do with attention. So when people watch your videos, their attention isn't going to be with you at all times. I mentioned in the previous webinar that people's attention spans are so low and they get bored so easily. So the reason we've got these 3 key areas at the start, the middle, at the end, where we really tell the audience the important things that we're going to share with them, is because someone could have the attention at the start, have your attention, they could listen to what the video is about, they could nod off in the middle, and then they could come back at the end. So you really need to be telling them throughout the video the key valuable points so that they can think, oh, I missed that, and they can go back. Okay? An introduction is really crucial because you want your audience to know who you are. You really want your personality to come across so that people can really start to feel that they're building that relationship with you. And the call to action at the end is so crucial. You really need to start to change your mind frame and think, everything you do online, digitally, be it on social media, blogging, creating videos, you need to think, what's the call to action? Your website, what's the call to action you want your audience to take when they've read a piece of content? This is so important, and it's really important in this video. So that's the clear 5 steps you can take, and that's the structure we're going to use. Now, again, as we go through this, at the end of this video, you're going to have a clear plan, but you can rewind this video if you like to really go back over this in more detail. But stick with me for now, because we're going to move on to how you can promote your video. So you've got a clear structure in your plan, noted down. I want you to write that down, and I want you to start to think in your head, that's the structure we're going to use. Now within your plan, we're going to be looking at how you can promote your video. You need a clear plan as to how you can promote it, and I'm going to be giving you some really actionable tips and advice which I've used really successfully, and you can use too, to get your video out there to the right people. So the first way you can promote your video is through social media. As I'm sure you understand, social media is so key and so crucial, and it's a great platform to use to get your video out there. So the first tip I'd give you is to share your video natively across the different platforms. So what I mean by natively is I mean to actually upload it to Twitter and post it directly onto Twitter, post it directly onto Facebook, so that the video is kind of inbuilt into your profile. It's really simple to do. When you go to send a tweet or a Facebook post, just click the camera icon and you can upload your video. So I definitely would recommend that. And a big tip I'd give you there is to share the video multiple times at different times of the day and different days. Because if you think about it, the people you want to see your video they're not all going to be online on social media at the time you want them to see your video. So it's so important to test different times of the day and different days. And a great tool you can use to find out the most effective times to post your video on Twitter is a free tool called Follower Wonk. Now this is such a great tool. What you can do is you go on there, you put in your Twitter handle, and you can analyze your followers. And what it will tell you through that software is it will tell you when they're most active and most engaged on Twitter. So it will give you an idea, the different days, the different times. You can start to test these different times to really find out when's the best time to post your video. Another great tool you can use is Buffer. So what Buffer is a free scheduling tool that allows you to schedule your content throughout the week, throughout the month, so that you don't have to, manually go onto Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn every day and upload your video. You can actually set it up so it's scheduled so that throughout the week it will go out automatically at these different times. It's such a great tool to save time. Other similar tools are like Hootsuite, Octopost. There's loads out there, but I find Buffer is a really great tool to use to schedule your video at different times of the day. And moving on to the last point, measure and improve, just skip the second point there. It's really important when you post these videos at different times of the day, at different days of the week, you must measure how your video has performed. So there's things like Twitter analytics, Facebook insights, that you can start to look and measure, how many people are watching your video, how many views have you got, how many people has the video reached, how many people have engaged with the video. And I want you to really start to note down, when it eventually comes to creating the video, I want you to note down how these videos have performed. And you can then start to think, I posted this video at that time on that day and it achieved these results. You tested it a different day and it was much better, or you tested it another day and it was terrible. You can start to learn the best times to post your videos. And it helps you improve as well. And finally, moving back to the second point, for social media groups are a really, really effective way to get your video out there and promote them to your audience. So what I'd suggest you do is go onto social media, go onto Facebook. Facebook's a great one. You see the search bar at the top? I want you to start typing keywords around your industry and around your target market, because there's hundreds of thousands of groups out there of people who are interested in all of the different industries in the world. So for example, I joined lots of digital marketing groups, social media marketing groups, but also groups around Kent businesses, because they're the kind of businesses that I look to engage with, and they're the kinds of clients that I bring on board. So I joined all of those groups. I started to engage and answer questions in those groups, and then I started to share my videos and share my content, because you have to think about this. These videos we're creating are providing value. You must remember that these videos are not a sales pitch. You do not want to be creating and sharing videos which are just a sales pitch. You want to be providing value, like I mentioned in the previous webinar. So get onto Facebook, get onto Twitter, search for keywords around your industry, and then start to find these groups, join them, start to engage, answer people's questions, get involved in conversations, and then once you've built up a bit of credibility, you can go in there and you can post your video and you can say, hey guys, I've got this video, it provides tips, it provides industry insight. You need to think about the value proposition and post it in there, and I guarantee it'll help you build relationships and it'll help you build up your credibility. So social media groups are such a great way to promote your video. Social media as a whole is a great way to promote your video. Next, we've got blogs. So as I mentioned earlier, what I do is I like to post my videos natively onto Facebook and Twitter. So I upload them straight to Facebook and Twitter. The benefits of that is that they autoplay. So when they're in the news feed and people are scrolling past, they autoplay. But also, they reach a much larger audience than if you were to put them on YouTube and then share them. Okay? But the second thing I do, once I've posted them natively, is I go onto YouTube, I upload the video to YouTube, and then I create a blog and embed the video into the blog. Okay, bear with me. So what this does is, I create a blog around the video, and then I promote the blog on my social media. What that does is it drives traffic back to my website. And you've got to think of your website as your shop front. It's where your audience comes to find out more about you, to read your content. So you really want to get as much traffic as you can to your website. And blogs are a great way of doing that. So a second way that you can use blogs to really promote your video is to use your video within a guest blog. So what a guest blog is it's where you write a piece of content. It could be providing tips, advice, knowledge, industry insight, all the different areas we've spoke about, which your video could be to do with, and you go onto someone else's website and you create content for them. The benefits of this are, if you've got a very small audience, you can really raise your profile and grab the attention of other websites which have already got a huge following and get a lot of traffic. So I'll give you an example now. I started writing for Social Media Examiner, which is a big social media publication, about 4 or 5 months ago, and they've got huge amounts of traffic going to their website that are really interested in the kinds of things that I do. And I started writing for them, and it's really helped raise my profile. Loads of people who would have never heard of me have now heard of me because I've blogged for a website like that. Now, the tips I'd give you as to how you can blog for these big websites is, first of all, you need to start blogging for yourself to build up a small portfolio of blogs to go to these guys and say, look, here's my blogs, this is what I've been writing about, can I write for you? And the way you find these blogs to write about is to go onto Google and type in guest blog and the keyword to do with your industry. So I could type in digital marketing guest blog. You could be in the construction industry and you could say construction industry guest blog. Or you could be in the beauty industry and you could say beauty industry guest blog, and start to find other websites that have a large amount of traffic and send them a personal note saying, please can I write a guest blog for you? I'd love to guest blog for you. And you can include your short videos within that guest blog. And again, it's really helping build exposure for your brand, build exposure for your blogs that you're creating and your videos. So guest blogging is such a great way to build exposure for your videos and your brand. So also, there's another really, really great free tool that I use when I embed a YouTube video on my blog. And this tool is called Social Locker. So what this does is, when you embed a video onto your blog, it basically locks that video so people can't watch it until they share it on Twitter or share it on Facebook, and it really helps build the exposure for your video and your blog. So you need to really ensure in your short videos you're really providing lots of value and you're sharing lots of tips, lots of advice, so that people will actually share that piece of content to gain access to it. That's a really great one. That's Social Locker. And there's also another one called Opt-in Panda. Now, Opt-in Panda is very similar, but people have to provide an email address to be able to unlock your video. Okay? And these are great plugins for WordPress websites. So you have to have a WordPress website. You know, and all these tips I'm giving you don't have to use all of these ways to promote your blog. I'm just giving you lots of different areas you can use, and afterwards you can pick the ones which suit you best. And finally, with blogs, you've really got to measure the success of your blog with your embedded video. You want to know, how is it performing? How many people are watching the video? How many people are clicking on the video? Where are they clicking? And I've got another tool for you called SumoMe, which is a free plugin for WordPress, and it's great for analyzing your content, analyzing your videos. So you should definitely check that out. Then another way to promote your video is to promote it to your email list. So I really think it's fundamental for you to start thinking about building your own email list, an email list of subscribers, because things like social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of these platforms are rented land. What I mean by that is they own your content. You're posting on their platforms, they could shut down tomorrow and all your content will be gone. So you really need to start trying to think about funneling that audience back to your website and get them to subscribe to your email list, okay? So once you've got these subscribers, you can then start to share your videos with them, share your tips, share your advice, and drive more traffic back to your website. So make sure you measure and improve how you're performing. MailChimp is a great tool to do that. You can really start to build up an email list for free, and it's a really great tool to do that. Now, it's time for you to take action. I want you to go back over this video and start to write down your plan. I want you to pick the nuggets of information that will be useful for you to create your video. So just to summarize the things we need to go through when we're creating our plan before the next webinar, I want you to note down exactly what you're going to be videoing. So we did that in the first webinar with your brainstorm ideas. Then I want you to note down how you're going to create the video. We know we're creating these videos with our smartphone. Then I want you to note down exactly how you're going to structure your video. You know, we spoke about that earlier with the tell them what you told them, then tell them. Make sure you've got a call to action and an introduction. I want you to note this down. And then finally, I want you to pick the different areas you're going to use to promote your video. And I want you to write down a plan as to how you're going to use those. And I've given you some nuggets that you can use there. So that's it. Now it's your turn to create your plan. And in the next webinar series, we're going to be talking through actually how you can create your video. I've got loads of actionable tips and advice that you can use to actually create the video. I'm really excited to do that. I'll see you in the next video.